Super Rugby round number 15, folks. The final round of the regular season is upon us. The teams have been named. We will go through the teams and the fixtures. And who's going to make it? First spot is still up for grabs. But maybe more importantly, that final spot in the playoffs, 8th spot, is still up for grabs. The Drua currently sit there. The Crusaders can get it. The Force can get it. Moana Pacific can get it. But only one will make it. The rest will be left out. Yeah, we'll go through them. You guys can let us know your thoughts. Speaking of the Crusaders, first up is them. Back home, they need a win to get 8th. Both these sides can finish between 8th and 11th. The Tars have got 12th locked up. For the Crusaders, they've brought in Tamaiti Williams to start at tight head from the bench. That is a promotion for him and is certainly a big guy to have in the front row, which has been operating pretty well. And a little bit of tinkering in the back line sees Macca Springer start on the left wing. Ryan Crotty, the veteran, is going to be there at number 12. And the rest of the side is pretty stable. A couple of changes at the bench with Franks, Murray, and Robinson coming in as well. But they'll be looking for more from the likes of Hotham and Burke at 9 and 10, who pulled the strings really well. And man, Ethan Blackadder, Cody Taylor, a couple of All Blacks absolutely stepped up to the plate last week, so we'll see if they can do the same. For Moana Pacifica, they've started Sekopi Kepu this week, so it's going to be a final game for him, so he gets a start in his final appearance in Super Rugby, so big congratulations to him. He'll be looking to get a perfect send-off, maybe not his final game if he manages to get the side through to the playoffs, but it is kind of beyond their control. Taumateni comes in at number 9 this week. Patafilo switches to the left wing, and that man, Tamu Folau, is still there at 15. He was pretty lightning quick last week, and he'll be looking to get himself into some more space. Henry Taifu also comes into the midfield for Moana Pacifica for this one. So they'll be underdogs, but they've still got everything to play for. Second game of the Friday games is the only one where there's nothing really on the line, because the Tars are going to finish 12th, and the Reds are going to finish 5th. Both these sides have got it locked in, but the Tars and the Reds don't like each other, traditional rivals, so they'll both be trying to add a bit of misery to the other, I suppose. The Waratahs looking to play spoilers and let their coach end his Tars tenure on a high, whereas the Reds would probably like to rub a bit more salt in the New South Wales wound. For the Tars, a couple of more changes in the props with Paddy Ryan and Tom Ross getting runs this week. The propping stocks have been an absolute revolving door for the Tars. Masatera gets a start this week after being on the bench last week. Swinton likewise gets a start, and Tristan Riley is into the 23 on the right wing. For the Reds, pretty stable. Zane Nongor is going to get a crack at the starting jersey at tight head after being on the bench last week. Joe Bryle is also going to get a start at number 8. And that revolving door of their own, for the Reds, it's been rotation by choice rather than by injury, but Lawson Crichton is going to pull the strings at number 10. So Tom Liner, who's been their other main 10, he drops to the bench for this one. Saturday games, and boy, there's some pressure on the Fijian and Drua. They are in 8th. They just need to win, and they are home and done. And they're playing the Rebels, who haven't won a game in about, I think, 5 games in a row. So Drua at home will be big-time favourites, but there is massive, massive pressure. And they're still potentially in the hunt for 7th. If they get a bonus point, they can put themselves in the conversation for 7th spot. They could finish as low as 10th, depending on how other results go. But they just need to get a win. Hitet's going to come into the side at loosehead, so that's a bit of a bolstering to have an international loosehead prop this week. Roto Solia also up from the bench into the second row, and then Darren Alangi and Lomani also getting starts. Having not been in the 23 last week, Darren Alangi, the regular captain, he is going to captain the side from number 8. Interestingly, they've gone for a 6-2 split this week, the Drua, with Tarakai Bata in the 21 jersey. He played number 8 last week. So, yeah, potentially looking to make sure they don't get dominated up front. And to be fair, a fair few of those forwards could potentially go into the back line with the kind of 7s background some of them have. For the Rebels, they could be forgiven if they'd sent a kind of second string outfit over to Fiji. Maybe rest the guys up and not put them through the plane trip to Fiji. But nope, they've sent the big guns. Despite the fact that they are locked in for the playoffs, they can finish between 6th and 8th, depending how this result goes at the weekend. As I said, they haven't won at 5 games, but they got a couple of big gun Wallabies players back, with Tupou back at tight head and Carter Gordon back at 10. Darby Lancaster switches wings this week, and Andrew Callaway is not playing fullback. He's going to go on the right wing, with Mason Gordon getting a promotion from the bench to start at fullback. So that game essentially decides the fate of the Crusaders, of Moana Pacifica, and the Force, in that if the Drua lose it, those other sides are still alive, but if the Drua win it, it's kind of all over Rover. Hurricanes Highlanders is a kind of late afternoon kickoff here in NZ. Hurricanes still chasing down that top spot, and they've continued with their rotation, but they've got a bit of good news to have FORvBRU back in the number 2 jersey. Remember, they had a red card to their hooker last week, so good to have him back in Aomoa because he's been out for a wee while, and Kirifi also missed last week with injury. He's back at number 7. Reasi gets a kind of rare start. He sees himself in the 23 jumper more than in a starting jumper, but yeah, his 50th game for the Hurricanes, so good on him for getting a start. We'll see what he can do when he's actually given that opportunity, because he's been impressive off the bench. And yeah, they'll be certainly chasing a bonus point, the Canes, because that'll put more pressure on the Blues and the Brumbies who follow. I mean, if the Canes get the win, they'll finish above the Brumbies, but the bonus point would put pressure on the Blues to try and match them and do the same. But they've got to get the win first and foremost of what could be a pretty tough Highlanders outfit. And TJ Perenara potentially looking to kind of extend that try-scoring record run that he's been on at number 9. He scored one of New Zealand's most kind of freakish tries in the All Blacks jersey. If you remember it back against Namibia at the World Cup in Japan 2019. NZR Plus has got a list of 10 of New Zealand's top freakish tries in All Blacks colours. It includes some pretty big name All Blacks players from some pretty big tournaments. Check that out. That's down in the description. That's NZR Plus. So you might see guys like Rokotoko and Lomu if you stick around, but certainly TJ is on the list as well. For the Highlanders, rotation is the order of the day. On the back of that win over the Drua, they'll certainly be looking to put in a good shift, but ultimately they're going to finish 6th or 7th. Will Tucker is going to get a crack in the second row this week. Max Hicks is promoted from the bench, and Billy Harmon switches to open side with Broughton getting a crack at number 8. And then Finn Hurley is going to be at fullback this week. Connor Garden-Bishop also comes into the starting side, having been on the bench last week. Penultimate game sees the Blues taking on the Chiefs. Now the Chiefs are going to finish 4th. That's still kind of locked in, but the Blues are anywhere between 1st and 3rd, so potentially a bit more to play for the Blues. But then the Chiefs, they don't want to lose to the Blues, that's for sure. And especially because they lost last week, a little bit more extra pressure on the Chiefs. The Blues have got the return of a couple of All Blacks with Papali'i at 7 and Caleb Clark on the left wing. And a second chance for Marcel Renata to get his 50th Blues cap. He was named in the squad last week, but it was a late scratching. So congratulations to him. Hopefully he has better luck this week getting that 50th cap. They've also got AJ Lamb switching to number 12 this week, so he's in from the wing into the midfield. And Finlay Christie is another one of those guys who is an All Black who is back fit, but he is on the bench still behind Funaki. For the Chiefs, remember they kept their starting lineup the same for the last 2 weeks, but they have changed it for this one, but it's still a pretty strong looking side. They've got the return of Finau at number 6. He's certainly a big blockbusting ball carrier the Blues will have to be aware of. And 6th try, Daniel Rona is back in the midfield for this one. Likewise, Jimmy Tupou and Bradley Slater back into the 23, and then Xavier Rowe also going to get a run. Quintu Paia is going to ride the prime for this one. And then the final game sees the Force taking on the Brumbies. The Force will know whether they've still got a shot by the time they get kickoff. It could be they need to win, could be they need to win with a bonus point, or it could be they are out. We'll kind of have to wait and see. They could finish anywhere between 8th and 11th, so similar position to the Crusaders and Moana Pacifica. Coxon, Carter, and Buri are going to get started this week, having not featured last week, and Jeremy Williams is switching to the back row to make way for Sam Carter's return. Kurtley Beale's still there at fullback. It's a 6-2 split for the Force, and then for the Brumbies, still chasing that top spot. Not a lot of changes. Best they can finish is 1st. Worst they can finish is 3rd. So if the other 2 home sides get wins, the Brumbies can kind of go into this one without much pressure because they can't elevate their position on the log. Scoop's going to get a start at loose head. Nick Frost back to a more familiar second row spot from the back row. He and Tom Hooper are basically swapping jerseys. Rory Scott is also in at number 7. And then the back line is unchanged, but Conor McInerney and Harry Vella are a couple of sub replacements who we didn't see in their previous game against the Rebels. But yeah, Super Rugby's final regular season round, folks. Pressure is on numerous teams. Most of the teams can still finish up or down from where they are now, barring the Reds, Chiefs, Waratahs. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.